I have a question. This is for the people that's been using the weight advantage excuse for the last 3 days. Now, quick question. What was Devin Haney's weight when he walked to the ring? When Devin Haney rehydrated, what was his weight? This goes to anybody that's a Devin Haney fan. This question goes to anybody who's a pro Devin Haney channel that's making excuses. Now, if you're not making excuses, this question doesn't pertain to you. If you're making excuses about Ryan Garcia's quote unquote weight advantage, my question to you is how much did Devin Haney weigh while he was walking to the ring? In other words, it's after he weighed in at 140 pounds and he rehydrated. What was his weight? Because we have to establish whether this was a weight advantage for Ryan Garcia, because from the last time I checked, we don't know how many pounds Ryan Garcia actually rehydrated to. We know he missed the weight by 3.2 pounds, but we don't know how much he actually rehydrated to when he walked to the ring. So my question is, how much did Devin Haney weigh when he rehydrated? Let's see if we can get some answers about that. Double salute to my guy, Pedro. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Pedro says, Hearn stated that Haney was hiding their weight. I don't know. I didn't hear that. I would love, because I'm about to play what Eddie Hearn said. I'm about to play what Eddie Hearn said. Now, I didn't hear him say that the Haneys were hiding, well, Devin Haney was hiding his weight. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what Pedro said. And Pedro has been accurate every time he gives a super chat. So, you know what I mean? I'm just saying I haven't heard it. I have to get some evidence before I believe. But I'm going to play an interview of Eddie Hearn. But before I play it, I want somebody, anybody, who's been making an excuse about Ryan Garcia's quote-unquote weight advantage. Because we need to know how much of an advantage it was. We need to know how much did Devin Haney weigh. Because let's say Devin Haney weighed 165 pounds, like he did in December when he fought Regis Prograis, when he rehydrated 25 pounds. He was 165 plus pounds when he fought Regis Prograis. So let's say he was 165. Let's say Ryan Garcia rehydrated and he was 168. You mean to tell me them 3 extra pounds is the reason why Devin Haney didn't make an adjustment and got caught with the same left hook? And he got caught with right hands? And he got knocked down 3 times and he actually got beat up. He did. And let's say those 3 pounds really did have something to do with it. I done gave y'all the 3 reasons why we shouldn't use it as an excuse. I told you that on Sunday. Most of you were here. We had over 20, I think it was 20,000 views. We had 16,000 people here watching me live in living color. And then 4,000 additional people watched it after the live went off. So I think it's fair to say that most people, saw, my video, and I gave my 3 reasons of why we can't use it as an excuse. So if you missed it, go right back and watch that Thursday's live. All right. Because I don't want to miss anyone in translation as we're moving forward. All right. All right. Just want to make sure. So I'm looking in the chat to see how much Devin Haney weighed in. That's what I'm trying to see. I just want to see. I want to see if anybody, because, they might know. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. All right. So nobody in the chat gave me the answer. Okay. All right. So we got to move on then. Because I need to know how much did Devin Haney rehydrate to make sure that it actually was an advantage. Okay. Now, let me talk about how contracts work in boxing, since we keep saying 3.2 pounds over the weight, right? Standard contracts in boxing. Hear me, y'all, and hear me good. I need the likes. Come on, let's bring the likes up just a little bit. We have to make sure that this education reverberate all across the world and on the YouTube boxing algorithm. I'm about to teach you something. You ain't never hear this nowhere else. So I'm glad you're with me today. Now, let's get the lights up. Let's get the lights up. Let's get the lights up. Let's get the lights up, please. Let's make the lights congruent with the viewership. Because when the lights go up, YouTube push the algorithm out. All right. Now, standard contracts in boxing on commission paper. That means when we managers and promoters are getting bouts approved. Yes, there's an original contract between the fighters. Great. Yes, there's an original contract between fighter and promoter. Great. But there's another contract. And this contract is the contract that is sealed, that is signed and delivered on the Athletic Commission's letterhead. Why? Because this is how the fighters actually get paid. In other words, is the commission who provides the licenses to the fighters, promoters, managers, etc., right? They have paper with their letterhead on the documentation. And once the bout agreement, that's really what it's called, a bout agreement is signed, now we have a fight. With that being said, typically, in most cases, I am not saying this happened with Ryan and Devin, but in most cases, standard in boxing, contracts on commission paper, bout agreements, it usually states fighter A will compete with fighter B at this particular weight +1, sometimes +2. In other words is, let me put this in context. If the contract on commission paper, bout agreement, hear me and hear me good, states that fighter A, Ryan Garcia, fighter B, Devin Haney, is going to compete at this date, right? The contracted weight will be 140 pounds +1. Standard in boxing now. What that means is both fighters will be able to have the opportunity to make the weight at 140, but also if they come in on the official scales at 141 pounds, they will not be penalized. There will not be a penalty, nor will it be a fine associated with them coming in 1 pound. It's like a grace period, right? It's like a grace pound. Okay? 1 pound. 1 pound. 140 +1. Standard in boxing. You can ask anybody that does business in boxing. You can ask any fighter. At some point of their career, they've seen this language on the bout agreement that they signed. I guarantee you that. Sometimes, most times it's +1. I've seen situations where it was +2. So let's be clear on something. If it said 140 +1, which is a 1 pound grace period or a 2 pound grace period, let's just say 1 pound, then that means Ryan Garcia was actually over the weight by 2 pounds. If it said 140 pounds +2, that means Ryan Garcia was only 1.2 or 1 pound over the weight limit agreed upon on the bout agreement. Okay? I just wanted to give context to that. Not making no excuses. Because I told y'all, remember on Friday when we all saw with our own eyes that Ryan Garcia missed weight? Now, of course, we heard about it earlier in the day. We heard about it earlier in the day because we know that Devin Haney was the first one that I saw on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, at around 10:45 or 10:50 in the morning. He's the one that told everybody, hey, Ryan Garcia missed weight, 143 pounds, 143.2. He owed me money, 1.5 million. As Devin Haney tweeted that. He's the one that let the public know. And then all these other writers, reporters, and social media, they started commenting on it after the fact. But Devin Haney was the first one I saw put that out there in the atmosphere. Okay? Now, I don't know if that was the second time he weighed in or the first. Now, let me give y'all background on that so we can have context to this. When fighters miss weight, any division, whether they're 4-round fighters, 6-round, 8-round, 10-round, 12-round fighters, champions, standard in boxing. Not saying it happened in this scenario, but it is standard in boxing. Listen to me teach you the business now. If a boxer fails to make weight, they usually have, I think the maximum is 2 hours. 2 hours to agree to go ahead and burn the excess weight off so that they can make weight. The penalty is if they come back the second time and they miss weight again, they will be penalized and fined by the State Athletic Commission who is facilitating the bout. Okay? That's why they have the bout agreement written on commission paper with the Athletic Commission letterhead on the documentation, right? Okay. Now, in this case, Ryan Garcia was penalized and fined by the commission. Okay, I don't know what the penalty is. Sometimes it's 10% of their purse. Sometimes it's 20%. Sometimes it is negotiable. But he was penalized by the commission. And majority of the time, the commission do take the fines extremely seriously. And sometimes, watch this, the fighter who agrees to continue to compete, they will also receive some dividends because they're agreeing to still compete after this boxer came in overweight. And so not only will they get a piece of the pie, but watch this. In this scenario, Devin Haney initiated the bet. $500,000 per pound that he will be compensated for if Ryan Garcia comes in overweight. Okay? So apparently Ryan Garcia didn't want to sit in no sauna for 2 hours. He didn't want to go jog around the entire Barclays Center to drain 2 pounds. He didn't want to take a poop. Some fighters are like 0.5 or a pound over and they take a poop sometimes. And then bam, they get back on the scale and they make weight. This happens. All right. Now, with that being said, in this scenario, Ryan Garcia was penalized 3 times. Number 1, by the Athletic Commission. And of course, he still had to pay Devin Haney a percentage for continuing on with the bout. Number 2, he had to lose $1.5 million because he came in 3 pounds over the weight based on a bet that had nothing to do with the commission. This was a private bet between Devin and Ryan that went public because they made the bet publicly, $500,000 per pound that he was over. So that's $1.5 million. And then the third way Ryan Garcia was penalized is because even if he won, he would not be awarded the championship title at 140 pounds.